Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you once again for tuning in to Cascadia Hockey Podcast. We really, really do appreciate you guys taking some time out because, you know, everybody's schedules are so crazy busy right now. But here we are, another week, whatever the count is now. I don't even know. Quarantine again. Yes, we still are. Discord, doing our thing, talking hockey. There was actually a lot going on news-wise. We got into some of that, but the energy level this week was a little low, hence the title of the episode. But we got through it. We still had some fun, so join us. Please don't forget, like us, rate us, share us with your friends. Tell us you hate us. I don't care. You can email us, hello@buriedpuckthreads.com. You can check us out at buriedpuck.com. Find us on Facebook, Cascadia Hockey Club. We've got a nice little bit of just having fun, just looking at hockey in the good old Pacific Northwest and just enjoying the game that we're all missing right now. Hopefully there'll be some good positive news soon. Not holding our breath. Anyway, this week's music, as always, we want to thank Strange Famous Records. This track is called Kitchen Sink. It's by B. Dolan featuring Alias. It's from his album called Fallen House, Sunken City. Check them out, strangefamousrecords.com. Please go support them. While you're doing that, head on over to buriedpuck.com. Pick up a couple shirts. We've got some new stuff coming in soon. Pick up some stickers. Support local hockey. Support small business. We love you guys. We're here for you to entertain, hopefully take your mind off of things. But here we go. Episode 68, the precursor to next week. It's going to be a good one. But first, this one. Thanks.
Moving photos of ghosts projected against the chemical smoke that closes all around me. A taste bitter as paint thinner. Switch the sound off, breathe heavily. They haven't found me. Slouched over my desk with my head pressing the keys, or sitting up in bed, the scene reflected by the screen. Blood pounding in my temple, remote control by the feed. Fingers slip between the blinds. This is what I see outside. Vampires, pedophiles, secret police. Threat levels elevated for weeks. Feel my blood pressure peak before I snap the blind shut. My heart beating in the darkness. Eating from the box and half conscious, half life full of sad nights spent rerunning my favorite program.
Welcome to Cascadia Hockey Podcast, where we have 4 people. One minus one who's sick, sad, but we got Derek. I don't remember your nickname. We got my husband. We got
Okay, you know what? You're
and
fired.
we got Kyle.
Woo!
And we got me.
Oh, dear God.
Welcome. We're gonna talk hockey shit. It's gonna be fun.
What
And
episode is this?
it's 68.
Which one is this?
68. 68.
Hey, 68 backwards is 86, and that would be Derek.
Oh, the
number
average
86,
guy.
the regular
guy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, I have to ask. I don't even know what that means. The regular guy? Like, where does that come from?
Just a regular guy. I don't know. It's just me. I'm just
I don't
regular.
think you're regular.
Derek's your all-American, dude. He's just...
Not special in any way. Just regular.
And we love him. We love him for that.
Stu, we keep asking you to come back every week, so...
So...
That's a good sign.
For Kyle, real quick for Kyle, in Las Vegas, 86 carries a way different meaning. The last time I was in Vegas for my 40th birthday, I had a couple guys eyeballing me from the roulette table for a while to where it was making me uncomfortable.
Uh-oh.
So in true regular guy fashion, I went to the roulette table and sat between them. And we struck up a conversation, and one of them finally asked about my tattoo. Apparently, like in old Vegas, that was almost like a mafioso thing.
Oh.
The original term for 86 was they would take you 8 miles out of Vegas and bury you 6 feet deep. So the people that carried that mark were like, you don't fuck with them. They were like the mob guys. And I was like, well.
So they thought you were like
right. Yeah. I don't know if they thought that or what, but they were curious for sure. So I was like, no.
I'm just
has to do with
regularness.
I'm just a regular dude, man.
It has to do with the pop rock song, but that's where it evolved into is 86. Like there's no return. Like you get 86, you're out. You can't come back.
That comes from that?
That is what I was told by these dudes.
That's intense.
who looked, I'm not going to be ethnic here, but they looked Italian. So I didn't,
they had some ties.
Ask too many questions, but it was fun. It was a fun conversation.
Fun Vegas tourist thing though. If you're ever in Vegas, I I'm kind of a sucker for touristy things sometimes. But the thing that I think is actually quite a genuine experience here is the Mob Museum.
Oh, I'd love to see it.
If you come to Vegas, you have to go to the Mob Museum. Like it's really,
awesome.
really cool. Yeah. I take everybody that comes here for the first time, and it's always a good time. There's a speakeasy down in the basement.
Are you saying mob?
Yeah, mob.
Mob. Not mom. Not
I didn't think you
museum.
said mom.
This is the Dodge Caravan.
The
They
cleanest,
in 1988 sold 500,000.
the cleanest museum in all the land.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a mom
it's-
and I don't clean.
That's true. That's true.
It's got a lot of cool stuff. It's got like revolvers from oh man, which one was that? Which
Doesn't it
mobster
have a
has-
shot up car or something?
No, that's in Pahrump, I think. It's
Oh, okay.
the Bonnie and Clyde car that
Right,
got shot.
right.
It's the one they died in. And then I haven't been to that yet. Maybe if it's open, I'll go check it out because I got what's going on. They have the Valentine's Day Massacre wall there.
Oh, right
wow.
on.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's cool. I've been there. My two favorite things to do, which I do almost every time, is one, the Mob Museum, and the Pinball Museum. I'm a
God.
sucker.
Oh, I bet you that would be
You,
fun.
you gotta go there,
And
man.
I want to go to the Neon Light Boneyard too.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about
like
that,
all the
yeah.
old like signs and stuff that just kind of
Oh, that'd be awesome.
It's like a park. It's a park, and it's just all the old signs around Vegas that they retired and replaced and everything. So
It's awesome.
I want to go check that out too.
And raise your hand. Anybody ever been to the Pinball Museum in Seattle?
No.
No, but I've been to the pinball ice cream shop. I forget what it's called.
Oh, yeah.
That place is really awesome. They have like alcohol infused ice cream and stuff.
Yeah.
And just pinball
Yummy.
machines and
That's
all kinds of
awesome.
stuff.
I like
it's
ice
really
cream.
cool.
They have
Definitely
weed.
must see. I
They have
can't
weed
remember.
ice cream now.
Oh,
Weed
yeah.
ice cream?
I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
doubt
ice
it.
cream.
Yeah.
Weed, like
Weed.
get smoked and
Like weed, like
Yeah,
marijuana,
like
like ganja.
THC ice cream. Yeah.
sign me up for that, bitches.
No, I've always wanted to check the Pinball Museum out up there. It's in Pioneer Square, so it's one of those things that probably wouldn't hang out there after dark, but during the day it should be fine. So anyway, you pay $10, you go and you play all day, and they've got like I don't know how many machines or whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember what it is in Nevada, but everything there is playable. I mean,
Nice.
every single machine
awesome.
there, from vintage machines to the most modern ones, everything there is playable, and it is super fun.
Pinball is just so hard. I love pinball so much, man, and it's so hard to find. Every year we go to Silverwood with the kids, and they've actually got a pretty decent selection of pinball on the back wall in their arcade there. So
Yeah,
Um,
our arcade bar here in Kennewick has 4 really good games.
Nice.
And they
That
were
is one of the
a couple of them.
I
That's one of the best
still have
arcade
yet
bars
to,
I've been to.
yeah, I still have yet to check that place out, man. Obviously,
got
it's,
it, man.
When it opens again,
Yeah.
it's pretty fun.
that's the people from Proof, right? That own that place.
Yes,
Cool.
yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Proof. That's a good place.
I miss that arcade bar. We have one here in Vegas. It's pretty decent, but I don't think it's quite it's quite Power Up or whatever it's called now. Because
Well,
when I
Yeah, Level Up. It used to be Level Up, and then they got
Level Up.
sued.
Yeah.
some shithead
Yeah.
place with the same ish name down in Oregon.
Yep.
Well, so here's what I always thought was weird about that. We are way off.
Oh,
So when I registered an LLC with the state of Washington, we couldn't use our first choice because there was one in Florida, and the state of Washington denied it. So I don't know how. Washington State even allowed them to register that. Just
Well,
kind of weird.
Because the names were similar. They weren't exactly the same. Like one of them had the word arcade bar or something, and then the other one didn't.
Yeah.
And I think it was the one in Washington had the word arcade bar, like Level Up Arcade Bar.
yeah.
It's like their official name. And then the one in Oregon didn't have that, and their like kind of like MO was a little bit different. Like they weren't quite the exact same. And they were worried that there was gonna be some kind of confusion. And it's like, fuck off. Like that's just stupid.
Well, it's the same thing with Vegas.
But I have
when the Golden Knights or like the Army Ranger group or something like that, right? And they ended up going through some legal issues with that.
Yeah. And what I loved was the Golden Knights' response that like we have yet to have anyone show up to our arena looking for a parachute team.
Yeah. We don't think there's going to be any confusion there. So
yeah, like it's just silly the shit that people like try to get money out of others for.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Fuck off, you know?
Yep. So, we are a hockey podcast. Just in case anybody was wondering, we're not pinball. Although, you know what, guys, I'm not too not keen on starting a pinball podcast. That'd be fun.
Hey, that Raiders of the Lost Ark machine is still available on Facebook Marketplace.
And like
it's
$8
down
grand.
to $5,000.
Oh, $5 now.
Yeah, it's down to $5,000. Yeah.
Not quite there for that stimulus.
Yeah, we're not
check.
quite there yet.
I've always thought, you know, like if just life plans don't work out and like this hockey business doesn't work for me, I'd probably open like an arcade of some kind, or at least like when I get my own house, I would like to like turn a room into like a home arcade or something. Like there was this
charge admission.
Yeah, exactly. There's this webcomic artist that I follow. I've been following this webcomic for like 20 years now. And he turned his garage into a home arcade, and he'll do like barbecues at his house, and then they'll finish the night with drinks, and it's a legit looking arcade in his garage. And he turns off all the, you know, quarters and all that stuff so that people just press start and they can play. And
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that's the dream of mine. Like I'd love to do something like that, you know.
The pinball machine that was in the basement of my grandfather's home, it was an old soccer pinball game, like way back. And I loved that thing. And he before my grandfather died, he told my dad, he's like, you make sure when I die, you get that pinball machine. You make sure that it's yours. You make sure you don't let anybody else have it. Well, we always thought it was because he knew how much I loved to play it. No, it's because that's where he hid all his cash at, in the back of that pinball machine.
Oh my God.
So as my dad and his two sisters were tearing the house apart after he died to try to find this cash, sure enough, in the back, the tall part where the score is at, behind there was like thousands and thousands of dollars in cash that he had hidden in there.
A literal treasure.
A literal treasure. And he wanted my dad to have it because he knew the two girls would just squander it, which they did squander their part. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. Hockey.
Welcome to Dr. Phil.
Well, no, Mr. Phil now.
Well, you know what? I'm going to interject and just say, and I'm going to say this early.
What?
Join our group on Cascadia Hockey Club on Facebook. We are growing slowly but surely, and I love chatting and just we bring this podcast conversation to all you people. So join us. Just go to Facebook.
What do you mean, you people?
You people.
What do you mean, you people?
Just go to Facebook, search Cascadia Hockey Club, and join us. We love you. Just answer 3 questions, because if not, I'm going to start declining you fuckers.
Whoa.
Yeah. Whoa.
Okay, now we can talk hockey. Whoop, whoop.
Last week, there was some hockey news, and it's kind of funny because this week things have really started to die down. But the WHL had their bantam draft last week. The day that we recorded last week was the day before the draft, and just as we were done recording, we found out that Connor Bedard had already signed his WHL contract before he was actually even officially selected by the Regina Pats first overall. So that was probably the biggest non-surprise of anybody for this year. We did talk a little bit last week about the Americans possibly picking Riley Heidt 4th overall. He went number 2 overall to the Prince George Cougars. And then Nolan, I believe his name's Nolan Yeager. I might be fucking that up. I didn't write his name down, but Yeager went 3rd overall. And I thought the Swift Current was going to be in the top 5 for picking, but that's actually why Regina had the 1st overall pick, because it was from Swift Current. Swift Current was the worst team in the league last year, and Regina had that pick, and I'm sure they were happy about it. Let's get to number 4. Pick number 4 was the hometown team, Tri-City Americans. Highest they've picked in ages. They haven't picked 4th overall for a while. Yeah, right? So we talked about it last week, and that was, looking at the mock drafts that were set up, it was a forward that was put in there, and we all kind of said, okay, defense we feel is probably more of an issue, but Bob knows what he's doing, and Bob took a defenseman. Lucas Dragicevic, I don't know, I'm going to butcher that a few times till I talk to Westy to find out how you actually say it. 6 foot, 165 at 14 years old. The kid just turned 15 the day after the draft, so happy birthday to him. But 6 foot, 165. It's a big boy. 52 points last year in 30 games, which is pretty impressive as a defenseman. Played at the Delta Hockey Academy up in the Vancouver area. 32 penalty minutes, so it means he's not scared to get into it a little bit. This is what I found interesting, and I didn't know until after. His dad, Milan, actually played in Tri-City back in the late 80s.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, for 4 games. He was a Spokane Chief most of that year. Then he got traded here.
Did you say he coached?
Yes, and on top of playing, his dad was also an assistant coach with the Americans from 1996 to 1998. So,
awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
His family's got history here.
Got history here. Westy has talked about being best friends with him. I'm just playing. Westy knows him for sure because, once again, that guy played in Spokane. Westy's got a lot of ties to Spokane and Tri-City. Yeah. So
he didn't actually play here in 86.
Who? The dad.
Didn't you say 86 to 88?
No. 96 to 98, he was a coach here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you said he played here from 86 to 88.
He played here in 1988-89 season just for 4 games, though. And it looks like I think it was the end of, or no, it would have been the beginning of the season. Then he went to Spokane. So anyway, but that family, and he's from Richland. Yeah, he's from Richland. He's from Richmond, British Columbia, so it's not too far away, but he's got a lot of ties to this area. I was thinking about it. You always have to have in the back of your mind, if you draft, especially those high draft picks, who's not going to show up? You know what I mean? And that's not a knock on like the 20-year-old kid that didn't show up last year from Calgary. There's a much more to that story. But like Jonathan Taves, okay? Ams draft Jonathan Taves first overall back in 03, 04, and he doesn't show up.
Okay, but how often does that happen?
But that's the question. How often does it happen? I don't know.
I wouldn't think that many.
It happens though. And especially at the WHL level. If you get drafted by the NHL, you're not going to say, well, I've got opportunities.
Is it time for...
Huh?
Oh, sorry. You keep breaking up, so I thought you were done, so I didn't mean to interject.
Oh.
You've been going in and out a little bit, but...
Oh.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I heard most of it.
Fucking internet. Fucking internet.
Fucking internet.
But so I mean, the last time the Ams had that really high of a draft pick, that he said thanks but no thanks, and that was Jonathan Taves. And Jonathan Taves was also drafted by Bob Torrey back in the early 2000s.
And what year was that?
Like 03, 04,
so
something like that.
So it's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah.
So I bet you it doesn't happen as often as what you're making it seem like.
Have you guys ever heard? Because I've heard that. Like you draft. Okay, we interviewed Russ Rankin, a year, 2 years ago, something like that, and he's a WHL scout, also lead singer for the punk band Good Riddance, which is kind of cool. But I asked him, as a scout, are you constantly trying to convince people to go the WHL route? And not only that, but are you trying to convince the parents that Tri-City is a good place to let your kid go and live for 4 years? I mean...
I think it would be better than like Seattle or Portland. I mean, I think it's a cooler city to live in, but not like a safe place. Like, aren't we voted like the safest place in America, top 10 or something?
Sure.
But anyways, I think that.
I mean, I think Tri-Cities would be attractive to some of the kind of more the hockey players that come from like Alberta or something, who are a little more like from the farmland, who are used to like smaller city life.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a pretty good poll. But I don't know. It's just
food for thought. Food for thought. I think about that a lot. We're not a hockey hotbed. We're not. I think even with the WHL, when you're looking down the list of names of places to go play, I don't think Tri-City pops up at you.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't think that's something that people like, kids when they're like in the bantam, they're like, oh man, I really hope Tri-City picks me up. Like, not saying that like they don't want to, but it's probably not like their top choice. They probably want to stay like in Canada or something close to family. Like, like I think Jerry Leone, I think he was from Kelowna, right?
I believe, yeah.
No, I think he's Kamloops.
Okay.
Either way. I know whenever he got moved up to Kelowna or Kamloops, which of the two, he was excited because he was moving close to home.
Right.
And I think that means a lot for her, especially a kid that age, like kind of being a little closer to home. Like, being able to see your family a bit more, it's probably a little more comforting.
Sure.
So Tri-Cities, we don't really have, a lot of players that come from Tri-Cities. There's a couple exceptions here and there, but like, there's not a lot of hometown players at all.
No.
So.
No, there are some exceptions. We've got a lot of affiliate, or not a lot, but we've got a few affiliate players every year that we'll put a tag on that are from this area. Casey Kaiser was a goalie a few years ago. That was actually from Richland. Played in a couple games. But no, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I mean, like a lot of our players, I think of like Mutala's from the Vancouver area. Rasmussen was from the Vancouver area. This kid, Dragosevich, is from the Vancouver area. But
Sarthau was a Washington boy.
Black Diamond, I believe, was the name where he's at. Black Diamond, Washington. Yep. We had Matt Dorsey was here 2 years ago for a few games. He was from Wenatchee.
Taylor
Vickerman was from this area. He actually got drafted by the Vancouver Giants, and then after a year, he got traded here to Tri-City. And him and his family were from here. Bo McHugh wasn't from here, but his family moved here after he got drafted and all that good stuff. So I think it's you bring up a good point. I mean, people like a Morgan Geekie. Geekie's from a very small town in Alberta, where there's good talent there, but you bring in people like that. I believe Remmer was from Alberta. Bob seems to like those scrappy boys as well. A lot of people like those Alberta scrappy boys, I think.
I think when Bob, I mean, I can't speak for Bob at all, but like, I think when he is looking at players, I think that's part of something that he looks at is like, are these kids going to be like, entertaining players to watch too? Like, are they not only going to be good for the team, but are they going to be good for fans? Are they going to be likable by fans? Is this player going to draw fans in? Because you can tell, like, when you go to the AMS games, you see who people are fans of. I see people with like, Valimaki jerseys or Yaremko jerseys and stuff like that. And I think that's definitely a thought when going into like choosing a player, like if this player is like,
Bouchard.
Are they fighters? Yeah. Bouchard is like, he's a character for sure and a fan favorite. Like, stuff like that. But like, I think at that age, it's also hard to tell also because like, I feel like once you make the WHL, it's kind of a new area of discovery on like what kind of player you are. Yeah. And I think that's an interesting thing to kind of look at. So
a lot of players in this draft made the comment, it's always been my dream to play in the WHL. Do you guys buy into that?
I do. I do. I think the WHL is highly regarded as one of the greatest junior leagues in the country and a natural stepping stone to the pros.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
As opposed to some of the others.
Do you think it's better than college though?
Yeah, absolutely. If your dream is to go pro, you want to play in the WHL. I believe before college.
The WHL has been spitting out NHL level talent for 50 years now. The NCAA just within the last decade and a half really started to get up to that level, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, but with Taves leaving.
Yeah, like Jonathan Taves goes and plays college, North Dakota. Yeah. He plays UND, which UND has been a very strong NCAA program for ages. But
and he might have had other aspirations. I mean, maybe he's like, look, even if I do make the pro, I think that at that point they gauge, am I going to be a 20-year superstar or am I going to have a 3 and done? Yeah. Should I get my education now while I'm young and, have a career as well? There's so many factors. I just don't think it's that cut and dry. But yeah, I do. I think if you have aspirations of being a pro, you want to play in the WHL.
I agree. I mean,
and what's interesting about that is the WHL was a much different league back in the late 80s, early 90s, because in the sense that like it was considered a gong show. Like you were going to go out and you were probably going to get in a team-wide brawl at some point. Like it was a fucking circus.
It was the ECHL of junior. I mean, the ECHL, that was the league that I grew up on, and watching like the Hampton Roads Admirals under John Brophy. Like, and I've said this a lot. If you don't know who John Brophy is, go and Google John Brophy, because he was one of the biggest characters in hockey that you've probably never heard of. But he was the coach of that team, and when teams like the Johnstown Chiefs would come through, which was a team, or maybe it was, I forget, but there was teams from West Virginia. There was teams from the Trenton Titans were another one, but it was a brawl, dude. You went to it because you enjoyed watching tough hockey, and you're like, oh, and somebody's going to win at some point too. But it was definitely a different league. Then the AHL came to town when the Admirals became the Norfolk Admirals, and you saw an instant change. Like, these are people that are really, really trying to crack the NHL roster, so it was completely different than just trying to entertain fans. You were really trying to get scouts to notice you and all that sort of stuff. So I agree. I think the WHL is a great league, man. When players like Jerome McGinley, Mark Recchi, Zdeno Chara, Matt Barzal, I can't even think of all the big names that have come through this league. It's definitely it's
a big list.
Yeah, absolutely. And the CHL in general, I think the CHL is the standard for developmental hockey. So,
for sure.
He signed his contract too, by the way, boys. He is officially a Tri-City American. He signed his contract yesterday, so we will see him hopefully a little bit this year in camp, and then a few games later on in the season.
He's only 14?
He just turned 15 on April 25th.
So he'll be able to play like 5 games.
He can play 5 official games next year. We'll probably see him a lot in preseason.
Yeah.
But they say he's going to complement Marc Lejoie very well, so I'm kind of excited about that.
I'm just ready for like his 5 games to be played, and then he gets sent back to his other team, and all the fans in the comments just like, oh, this is stupid, little Fireball Tory.
Yeah, oh my God, it's so true. It's so fucking true, man. It's like let's blame Bob because we don't know the rules of how this works. So. Jesus Christ.
I love that there was this guy on Twitter or something. I can't remember what the argument was over, but somebody was like, somebody had said something like they were arguing about the rules on like 20-year-olds or something and imports and all this kind of stuff, and how it was an NHL contract thing. I think it was regarding Rasmussen. Okay. And somebody was like trying to argue something, and Bob was like, no, actually it goes like this. And the guy was like, what are you, a GM? And Westy stepped in and was like, yeah, actually he is.
I do remember that. That's right. That wasn't before last season. It was the season before. Yeah. When
oh my God.
Because we weren't sure where Razzie was going to go. But yeah, that's true. I mean, who are you? Are you like the GM of the team or something, bro?
Yeah, it's so funny seeing people like on the internet just try to like talk shit, and it just ends up being a pathetic attempt at putting someone down. Like, it's just, God, it's so funny. And I love watching nerds get destroyed on Twitter. I love it. Actually, yeah, he is a GM.
Not only is he a GM, he's the GM. So
yeah.
All right, so that was Tri-City had the highest pick of the U.S. division teams in the first round. Next was Seattle. They had the number 7 pick, which I was actually kind of surprised, but forgot they just kind of squeaked into the playoffs. But they chose a kid named Sam Aremba. He's a center. This kid had 133 points in 31 games last year.
That's insane.
Wow.
For the Regina Monarchs. It's the Bantam team up in Regina.
Rhymes are fun.
There's your cue, Derek. Derek's
I'm not feeling it.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
We're at week 6 of quarantine. I don't think anybody's feeling anything with the amount of alcohol that we are consuming.
That's true. Anya and I did a pretty hard workout yesterday morning, and it was so fucking hard. I looked at her, I was like, what? Why? And she's like, we've been drinking for 72 hours. That's why.
Yeah.
I'm planning on a run.
Irish whiskey out of our pores.
Yeah. For real. But anyway, 133 points in 31 games. I mean, I know it's Bantam, but still, that's like 4 points a game. And there was another kid on that same team that had 127 points in 30 games.
So that shoots my entire theory that I made last week or 2 weeks ago. I gotta believe that league is pretty damn competitive, full of very good hockey players. Sure. So that, to me, that says a lot that he's still scoring that many points per game at the highest level of competition.
See, I think that maybe that league is not as
He was
good and
hot.
competitive.
And at this point, that magical thing called the internet decided to fail us. But no fear, we got everybody back and continued. So here you go.
It's Wacky Tuesday.
I love it because that means the people that are watching it live right now are getting extra content at this point. So
Yeah, they are. Well, we were talking about kind of what we're hearing on the NHL side of things because there are rumblings, there are rumors going around. I said John Scott had mentioned that he's hearing that teams are going to have players reporting back by June 1st. I'm hearing other sources are saying mid-May.
Yep.
There's probably going to be a couple of weeks of like a reintegration camp, mini camp kind of thing, and Derek had said, are we going to be seeing like, shitty kind of like out of shape hockey? And I don't think that's the case. I think a lot of players who were injured are going to be healthy.
Yeah.
They're going to be healthy and they're going to be ready to go. And I think we're going to see some of the best hockey we've seen in a long time.
And then and then you could be the Chicago Blackhawks and just completely like mix up your whole front office right now. So
yeah, exactly. And speaking of that, Logan, our dear friend in Colorado, who loves the Red Wings, by the way, who loves them.
yeah.
He said, anyway, which NHL head coaches do you think are on the hot seat? And as of right now, it's hard to say. I think Jeff Blashill's probably on his way. Detroit's head coach, and I wouldn't be surprised if Gerard Gallant takes that spot because he's really good friends with the Red Wings front office up there. So, we'll see how that goes. Because I think Gallant played for the Red Wings too.
Yeah.
I actually think
Logan
that,
just said in chat, "I love you, Houts."
I think with this break and the action and everything's so messed up, honestly, I think some guys that might have been on the borderline will probably get another shot next year because
I think that too.
Unless you were miserable already and already the decision was made. But I think if you were kind of on the borderline, you might get a free pass for next year, and say
they're kind of like, oh, shutdown. Whew.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm still getting paid.
I have to believe, and I hate it with Blashill. I have to believe he's going to get another shot because if anybody truly believes that Blashill is the problem, has been the problem in Detroit up to this point, they're wrong. I think he's a great coach. I think he's tried.
I do too. Yep.
He's tried to squeeze blood out of a turnip with everything that's going on there. I think he got, and I know that Yzerman just came in, and GMs generally like to come in and bring their own coaches and all that stuff, but I say give the guy one more year and let's see what happens with their draft this year. Let's see what happens with players like Razzie, Philip Zadina, where they can be next year. Larkin just keeps sustaining or getting better every year.
He's just going up. Like Larkin is.
It really
improving.
just depends. It depends on, and this is in any sport. It really depends on if the coach can convince the ownership that he was getting the very best win total possible out of the guys that he had. So then if they get rid of the GM, then sometimes that coach gets a lifeline saying, okay, fine, new GM will get you better guys. We better get better results with it.
Yeah.
How often is it actually the coach's fault in situations like this?
I would be willing to say less than 30-40% of the time. It's actually the coach's
I don't even
fault.
see when Vegas fired.
Gallant.
I hate saying fired. I don't feel like he was fired. I think he was just released. I don't think it was his fault. Like, I don't think it was anything, I think it was kind of a message from the GM to the players. Like, you guys are not playing to your potential. And we're going to make an example of people and Gallant's out. I think that's kind of how that was, and which isn't fair to Gallant because he's done a lot for the city of Vegas and the Golden Knights. But it was kind of a wake up call for the players. Like, you guys aren't playing to your potential. And when a coach gets fired in the NHL, I don't think that's not the end of their career.
No,
by any means. That's not the end of their career at all. Even in the WHL, like, it's just not.
Unless you're Mike Babcock, I mean, his career might be over.
No, his is done. Yeah. Like, when you get removed from a team and all these fucked up stories come out, nobody's gonna want to hire you.
Unless what's his name? The guy, Bill Peters, the guy that was the coach of Calgary. He's now got a job over in Europe somewhere, and the captain of the team quit when they found out he was the one that got hired as the coach. Did you guys hear that story?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear that one.
Yeah. So,
I know. I've had a long-running theory that head coaches in hockey are the most disposable
I
person.
know.
in the entire organization, the way they treat head coaches in the NHL. If I go get a master's degree in something else, I'm going to write my dissertation on how useless NHL hockey coaches are, because it seems like they just it's the only league I've ever seen where like 4 games into the season, oh, he's gone.
Fired.
New guy.
You're fired.
Halfway through the season, you know, like in the NFL, like it takes a lot to get fired. Like you got to be really, really bad for a long time, because like there's
Jason
so
Garrett.
few people that can do that job. Yeah, Jason Garrett. It's like, okay, well, who else are you going to get that's better?
Yeah.
And hockey's almost like, fuck it, we'll just stick a warm body in there to put 5 guys on the ice. That's all we need.
Put on the suit, stand on the bench, point
Right.
your finger, yell at the referee, game over.
I'm not saying they don't do anything, but I just feel like
No, you're absolutely right.
I feel like they are the most disposable person in an entire hockey organization.
I feel like in a way they are sometimes political pawns.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, really, like the Gallant firing, I think was proof of that. Like, I don't think Gallant was a bad coach at all. I think he was awesome. He did, like I said, he did a lot for the city.
But what
He did a lot
about
for
the
the
fact
team and the
that
community.
they lost that chemistry? And I mean, and I know that a coach is supposed to be like pulling that together.
Several years ago, the Flyers fired Peter Laviolette 3 or 4 games into the season, and I thought that was a terrible firing. I didn't think it was Laviolette's fault at all. And that right there, to what you said, Derek, as far as a political pawn goes, or was that, I forget who said that, but Kyle said that. That right there is proof. The GM fucked up. That was when Paul Holmgren was a GM of the Philadelphia Flyers. He fucked up in the offseason. He didn't get good blood in there. He didn't get the best for Laviolette to work with. The culture was fucked. But Laviolette was, like you said, Derek, that's a message that gets sent, unfortunately. Now, I think the way Gallant left Vegas is a lot better than the way Gallant left Florida. They literally put him in a cab on the road and said, good luck. Here's
That is
$20.
horrible.
Good luck.
They
That was
didn't even
fucked
fly
up.
him home.
Nope.
They didn't even fly him home.
He had to
get
find his
ticket.
own transportation home.
Now,
That
was
is
that
fucked.
A political reason? Like,
Absolutely.
Where he got out of Florida?
There was some animosity somewhere there. There's probably
Yeah.
stories we'll never hear until he writes his book. But
Yeah, seriously.
that right there, that made it personal. But that's the worst I've seen. Like to think that a firing is personal. Bill Peters, you have to fire him. You have to with his racist comments and all that stuff. Mike Babcock, dude. The funny thing about Mike Babcock is everybody thought that he was such a great coach. You come to find out Mike Commodore has been screaming about Mike Babcock for years and how terrible of a coach he is, how bad of a person he was. And we've got some people locally here that would totally disagree with that sentiment because they're friends with Babcock. Reminder, he used to coach in Spokane. But then
I've heard horror stories from Spokane.
Yeah, and now all these stories start coming out. And look at what he had in Toronto. I mean, the talent that he had, the money they spent on that roster, and they couldn't get shit done, dude. That right there, I think, does fall on the coach. Because the GM...
Shit like that.
The GM can look himself in the mirror every morning and say, I gave him what he needed to make it happen.
Yeah.
So,
except for it was the coach.
I can't remember what player it was. It was a rookie. And Babcock had this rookie write a list in order of who he think are the hardest working players on that team. And the player was so pressured by it and so stressed. Like he wrote his name on like at the very bottom. He was just like, I'm taking the fall for this. I'm not putting myself above anyone because fuck this guy.
Yeah.
And the players didn't. They were like nobody took it personal. They were like, look, dude, like, fuck this guy. You did what you were told. Like, I would have done the same kind of thing. So
yeah,
like his teammates had his support. Yeah, so it's unfortunate because I looked up to Babcock. As a Red Wings fan, I was like, he won like I think 1 or 2 Stanley Cups with them. I think.
Yeah,
it was 1. And yeah, it sucks to see that someone that you look up to just turns out to be a total fucking prick.
Yeah.
I think Dominic Hasek, I idolized him in high school, when I was growing up. And turns out he's a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
But I guess he's actually like running for president or something, or prime minister.
you serious?
Yeah, yep. I heard about. It's legit. Like he's starting a campaign and all that shit. So
yeah, I think he'll get it. Honestly, I think he will.
He's a rock star over there.
I wore a Red Wings hat when I went to Czech Republic, and like people were stopping me, like, "Oh, you know Hasek, you know?" And I'm like, yeah, of course. Come on, man. And then, oh my God, what was his name? There was a Red Wings player that was from the Czech Republic. He was the one that had the heart attack on the bench.
Oh yeah,
can't remember his name to save my life.
I don't either, but I know who you're talking about.
I can't remember if it was like Fisher or Hoodler or I can't remember.
Hoodwinked? No. Anyway. Okay, so this conversation's kind of died a little bit. Let's move on from coaches. We're all, I think, in the same agreement with it. Coaches are, for the most part, they're good people, but for the most part, a team can also survive without that. Anyway,
yeah.
Let's go back to the draft real quick because there's a couple things. Seattle did number 7. We talked about that kid. He's a stud. Anya said she disagrees with Derek before the internet died, that she thinks that maybe it's a weak league and that's why he did so well there. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of that league.
Because don't you think that if it was a strong league, there wouldn't be that many goals scored? It would be competitive. It'd be closer.
But you have to look at the whole league, and I didn't do that because I'm a terrible show person.
I think at that level, the skill ranges can vary.
Are very vast,
much greater.
Yeah,
much greater.
Like if it's a, if it's a league that supports the position players rather than maybe the goalies go somewhere else. You know, so like. I don't know, or the defense. It's a weird thing. I don't know enough about it to probably talk. The example I could make is like our short season A affiliate for minor league baseball. Short season A ball is for pitchers. That's all it's for.
Yeah.
It's a developmental league for pitchers. So there's good pitching and everyone else is just kind of, if you're there more than 1 year, you're never going to the pros kind of thing. So, maybe it's a league that is, I don't know. I mean, maybe something like that, or he's just freaking awesome.
Maybe. It just seems like a lot of goals.
Well, let's keep in mind too. I mean, these are 14-year-old kids.
Well,
I mean,
he said points.
It's
he said points, so it's not all goals.
75 of those were goals.
Yeah, so half. I mean, he passes the puck too, right? So I mean, So he dishes and he scores
75 goals and right around 60 assists if I'm doing my math right. So I mean that's
insane.
So keep an eye on that name, Sam Maremba. He's with Seattle.
Kind of probably needed it too.
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't know what Seattle needs. I can't.
Are they like, they just do all these trades all the time? It's like, what are you trying to do? It's
yeah. And speaking of that, Roddy Ross, who I really liked as Seattle's goalie, he was drafted by the Philadelphia Flyers. He was a 20-year-old goalie going into this season, though, and they traded him on draft day to get a few draft picks out of him, which is a smart move. But Seattle just seems to be like, let's keep our finger on the red button and just push it whenever we can. So anyway.
Yeah,
Next pick was Spokane. They had the number 18th pick. They went with a defenseman. His name is Sam Weinstein. I hope there's no family anything there. Anyway, it got me thinking, though. They took a defenseman first round. They've got to be preparing for a D-corps that's going to be going through some transition. Philip Kral was a 20-year-old this year. He's gone. Noah King was a 20-year-old. These are really good players. There was also a kid named Ty Smith. You guys may have heard of him.
I don't know. I can't.
He's
really
20 next year. He'll be gone. He ain't going to be back in the WHL next year. So you lose Noah King, Philip Kral, Ty Smith. That's kind of like losing Dylan Coughlin, Juuso Välimäki, all in 1 year.
I heard you say Coughlin.
Sorry, Dylan.
Sorry.
Coughlin.
I'm excited to have him back in Vegas this next season too.
Oh yeah, that's true. No matter where he plays, whether he sticks with the A or he gets up in the end, he's there. So
So
that's really cool.
I'm gonna be going to those games quite a bit, as much as I can. So.
I think Spokane, though, I think that's what's happening. Their defense is about to be not good, so they're going to be giving up 10 spots next year, which would be nice to not be on the receiving end of 10-spot games anymore. Portland didn't have a first-round pick, which if you're a Portland Winterhawks fan, that's nothing new. They hardly ever have first-round picks because they cheat and lose them. Yeah, I said it. I don't care what you fuckers cared. I said it. They cheated. They lost like 4 straight years where they didn't have a first-round pick because of their antics.
Did they get suspended?
Yeah. No, well, most of the leagues forgot about it because nobody's allowed to talk about it. So,
did they get suspended? Like they couldn't play for a year or something? Like
No.
the team, or they just?
They just lost. They just lost. Draft.
Can you remind myself and the viewers what happened? What was it they did?
So I don't know the whole story, but the short and the skinny of it is that they did some illegal recruiting. They were paying kids to come. They were paying parents to make sure their kids would come. They went about it somehow the wrong way with bringing in talent.
Interesting.
Cell phones. I've heard a lot about cell phones in what they were doing in Portland. I don't know what that means, whether they were giving the kids cell phones or what.
How long ago is this? Because that does not seem like a cool price.
2012.
2012, is that when it first came to light?
Yeah.
Okay.
It
So
just
yeah,
doesn't seem like a cool
and then
price.
four or five straight years they didn't have a first round pick. They got stripped of that. But anyway, yeah.
Interesting.
Also, I remember seeing there's. I just dislike a lot about that team. There's so much about that team I dislike.
Everybody does not like that team.
Unless you're a Portland fan.
It's
That's
true.
not even, it has nothing to do with their skill level, like whether they're good or bad one year. It's just, I think they need to get their own goddamn identity.
Are they the Yankees
Their own
of the
logo.
WHL? Is that what you're saying?
They're slowly
Nope.
rolling them out, their own logo.
No, well, yeah, they put out a third jersey, and the fans went ballistic. They were like, "This isn't what I wanted. That's not our logo." It's like your logo isn't even your logo.
True.
Is that seriously what the
Their jersey's
fans?
not even-
Holy shit! I didn't
Yeah.
realize that because as
They hate it.
fans on the outside looking in, we loved that jersey.
I think it looks amazing. I love
Yeah.
it. I think they need to start transitioning to a new logo and a new jersey and a new look
Their own identity.
because that's not their fucking logo. That's
No.
not their fucking jersey.
Nope.
Get a new one. Get your own. Like, I get it. The Blackhawks had a part of it back when they were, forming. And
That was the
I don't like-
70s. That was the 70s, dude. That's 40 plus years ago that identity was handed to them or whatever. It's time
Yeah,
to find
and
out.
I don't-
But you know what?
and
It's
I
working
don't-
for
I
them.
don't- I know,
Playing
but I
the
don't
devil's
like,
advocate there.
But I mean,
See,
like,
Portland people, I got your back.
I thought you hated Rose City Hockey Club. I thought you hated
I do.
Portland.
I told you I'm on the fence with it all.
I just, I don't know, get your own shit.
Derek, what do you pulled that date out pretty quick. Do you remember what happened with that whole?
Yeah, I show it. And actually, I mean, it seems pretty minor, but rules are rules. They provided flights for some of the kids' families to, I don't know, come watch them play or something. They paid for the flights. They paid for some summer training programs for some of these kids.
Ooh.
They did give one captain a cell phone that the team paid for 3 years or something.
A lot of under the table kind of transactions.
Just, yeah, I mean, just like,
and with that, like, who knows what else was going on that wasn't
sure, that's what they disclosed. Actually, the league didn't disclose that, but Portland put it out to, I guess, say, here's what we did.
Yeah.
And, you know, and in the public eye, people are probably like, who fucking cares? You know what I mean? So it was probably it was probably a good PR move for them to put it out there.
But I
Yeah.
bet you they didn't share all the shit.
Oh, hell no, they didn't share it all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I want to do some research to find out what really went down.
so it wasn't like Houston Astros level type.
No, it wasn't a worldwide like cheating scandal.
I'm not gonna lie.
Boston,
I'm
all
not
that,
gonna
man.
lie.
Just some benefits,
I was
some fringe benefits.
I was laughing my ass off watching spring training going on, and all
When
the
they were all
guys
getting their
were like,
asses cleaned. Yeah.
Yeah, I was fucking losing it. And there were players getting hit that weren't even a part of that team when they won the World Series.
Motherfucker, I played on your team last year. Why are you hitting me?
You're wearing the jersey, man. I'm sorry. Like, I just see red. Like we're talking about hockey and everything, and you know, kind of what's going on during this lull. And I'm just missing sports in general. You know, like the NFL had their draft here in Vegas last week. And you know, I don't want to say I'm going to be a big Raiders fan, but like, I'm kind of excited for it. I'm excited to see more sports entering the Vegas area. I like seeing that Vegas is now like a city aside from the gambling and you know, the sin. You know, Vegas is getting a healthier identity, I guess.
Yeah.
And I miss baseball. I keep thinking about going to games at Las Vegas ballpark up here, and I'm ready, man. I'm ready for this shit to start back up. And I think, like I was talking about with Derek, while you guys were, having internet trouble. We're definitely seeing the light at the end of the tunnel here. Because we're talking about opening cities, and we're talking about, when the leagues are coming back. So that's exciting. Unfortunately, the WHL, they just, nixed it.
I don't think there was enough time.
Well, no. There's not enough resources and time with the dub.
Yeah.
And I think
which sucks. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But
what were you saying, Derek?
I was just going to say, financially for the entire league, it probably just made sense to shut it down. You know what I mean? A lot of these teams are running on a shoestring budget anyways, and to hold the ice, that long, and all the other things that go along with it, just didn't work out. It's not like an NHL team that can keep that together. A side note for us, Tri-Cities, we don't know for sure, but we possibly could be losing our short season single A minor league baseball team.
Wow.
Oh no.
Last year, Major League Baseball put out a plan to eliminate like 42 teams or something from the minor leagues in an effort to, I guess, cost savings for the the health of baseball altogether. And Tri-Cities was on that list.
Oh.
It hasn't been official, but it appears that minor league baseball is going to negotiate, I think, 40 teams that are gonna probably go away, and they're in the next couple of weeks we should know.
Wow.
Unfortunately, our team is owned by the Brett family. The George Brett and his brother own our team and the Spokane baseball team.
Okay.
And Spokane wasn't on the list, but Tri-Cities was, so it'll be a bummer to lose our team. Yeah, it's gonna suck.
The few Dust Devils games that I went to, I really, really enjoyed them. They were a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've always loved going to the park since they built it, and we had our Western Baseball League team here, which was semi-pro league, was super, super fun. And then we had, of course, the minor league A. I just hope we get some sort of team, here, and it doesn't sit empty, because I think that's a blow to the Tri-Cities as a whole,
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And it's been voted like best, short season ballpark for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Crazy.
It's a great place. When we were out, when I lived out east, we had the Norfolk Tides, who were, I believe they were directly related with the New York Mets at that point. But Harbor Park rivaled any MLB stadium, not in size, but in just how nice it was. It sat right on the river in Norfolk. It was a nice place. That was fun. I mean, you could go watch a ball game for like $7,
Mm-hmm.
I think we always went on dollar hot dog nights.
Yeah, there was dollar dog nights. Usually when Dawson Butt was there. It's a dollar dog. Get yourself a hot dog, you fat fuck. That's for you, Remmer. By the way, and then we're getting late in the show, but I do want to announce, because it is going to happen. We're going to have Mr. Beck Worm on the show sometime in the next few weeks.
See, you mentioned a hint of it last week, and I couldn't like show my excitement. Because it was still kind of like low key.
Sure.
But now I can show I'm excited.
Well,
you guys know, like, Beck's been like my favorite Tri-City American. And it's always been awesome watching him play. He's definitely the best that's man, yeah, I'm excited to have Beck on.
Yeah, sure. me too, and just one of the nicest dudes ever. So I reached out to him, and we're just he wants to kind of wait and just see where the cards fall for next year for him, because he wants to be able to talk freely about that stuff. So, but I'm excited. Yeah. Former Tri-City American, ended his career as an Edmonton Oil King. Beck Worm, goalie, phenomenal goalie. So we're gonna have him on in a few weeks. We're working on some other things too, some other guests. Everybody's got a lot of free time right now, so I'm afraid that I'm gonna miss the boat though. Like, everybody's got free time, we'll have time, and then all of a sudden everything's going to open back up, and everybody's going to be like, sorry, no time for you. But anyway, yeah, so
I can get at a moment's notice, I can get a hold of someone that will eat the entire hour by himself.
I know. Yeah, that same person that's been walking 8 miles a day now.
Holy shit.
That
Is he
might
really?
Freaking
Yeah.
bored, man. He's got to talk. He has to talk to somebody.
That might be like a 4-part episode.
It
We'll
could.
record it on one day, and we'll release it in increments.
So
you
what
know?
I'll remind you of, boys, is that we'll probably have to start recording around 10 a.m. And then take a lunch break, and then continue recording after the lunch break, and then there might possibly be a happy hour break, and then record
Get
again
catered.
after happy
Yeah.
hour.
Absolutely.
Speaking of happy hour, you guys know I don't particularly participate in the group chat a whole lot. I do read, and I comment once in a while.
Sure.
My phone is constantly blowing up. Like, I have so many group chats, it's hard to keep up with them all. But I something caught my eye yesterday. We could totally do this kind of like group chat drinking thing and make it a special episode, because like, here's what I do. When I stream my game playing and all that kind of stuff late at night after a few drinks, I like to call it Hausenstein After Hours. We could easily do something like that with Cascadia Hockey.
Are you guys
Dude,
Are you guys fans of Drunk History on the comedy channel?
It's the greatest television show ever made, in my opinion.
So
I still have to watch it. Sorry.
Okay, so Kyle, that's your homework this week. Just catch a couple episodes. Last night, after that whole conversation with our Irish friend, for people that are like, what the fuck are you talking about right now? We want to do a day drinking session. Well, the problem is there's an 8-hour time difference. So day drinking for us, which starts around 10 a.m., is about 6 p.m. his time.
I clarified that.
Okay, sorry, 10:38 a.m. is the earliest we started drinking.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. I've been to Ireland. There is no like appropriate time to start drinking.
Yeah, right. It's all the time.
I had a Guinness for breakfast.
Oh, for sure.
day.
For sure.
As well, you should.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think the time of the day for him is necessarily
No.
an issue.
But here's what I
Aaron,
want. But here's what
Reach out if we line that up. Reach out, because I would love if Parker could join us too.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. We will make
That would
it.
be fun.
We'll make it. We'll make it
Parker
a
in the beard.
big party for sure. But what I'm thinking is we go down the drunk history path with it. And fans, if people are listening, if you want to chime in on whether you'd listen to that, you'd watch that, because we'd go live with that for sure.
Oh yeah.
But just pick a topic, pick a story, from any league, and maybe that's a good time to get Westy on.
Yeah.
He could just be the one giving stories. If he doesn't want to drink, that's fine. But just give us the stories and we'll talk about them.
You don't even have to do that. You just pull the string and watch him go.
I've even got Westy stories. I drove with that guy to Kelowna for
that'd
a
be
game.
fun.
And it was actually really awesome. Like, people were like, "Oh, be prepared. He's going to talk your ear off," and he did. But the stories he had were really, really awesome. And
So was it up
I
and
really
back?
enjoyed it. Yep, yeah. So we did.
You had 12 hours with him in the car, and I'd be willing to say that in those 12-ish hours.
more than that.
Oh, okay,
More
so
than that. And here's
15
why,
to
here's why.
20?
We went from Tri-City to Seattle for a game,
Okay.
right? And then right after that game, we drove to Kelowna. And then the main highway in Canada, once you cross over, the Highway 1 was closed because of snow.
Uh-huh.
We got pushed to another back road, which was even worse. It was in worse condition than Highway 1. Like, semi-trucks were like on the sides of the road. We almost hit like 3 moose. It was like, I think if I wasn't so tired, I was exhausted. I passed out. I didn't mean to. I wanted to stay awake and help keep him awake, but I was exhausted.
Woke up and he was still talking, right?
I woke up at one point and I just saw moose. Scared the fuck out of me.
Well, my
We'd already passed it. Like, I just kind of like woke up and saw it out the side of the window, and I was like, Jesus fuck, And he was like, we're fine. And we get to Kelowna at like 7 a.m. We were supposed to get there at like 4.
wow.
We were expecting to get there at 4. We got there at 7 a.m. We got there just after the bus got there. And he buys a bottle of wine somewhere in between Seattle and Kelowna. And he's like, this helps me go to sleep when I can't really sleep. And so we got in the hotel room, and I had a bed, Westy had a bed, and we're just like passing the wine bottle back and forth. We didn't have glasses. We're just like, well, hope I don't get sick, like sharing this bottle of wine, telling stories, getting, kind of like, and I passed the fuck out. It was like, I was so tired, and then the wine helped, and it was interesting. It was an interesting experience all around. And then I cruised around Kelowna a bit. Beautiful city, by the way. Fucking love Kelowna.
Yeah.
It was. I could tell stories on that too, but like, I'll save it for our drunk hockey history day if we have one.
Well, but my point is though, of all that time you spent with Westy, a lot of hours, you probably heard less than 1% of the stories that he has.
Easily. Oh yeah. Not even.
Yeah, like the thing about Westy is the people don't realize is not only does he have like a lot of really genuine like stories to tell and a lot of really cool things to talk about. He's I feel bad for him in a way because I feel like he could have easily done the NHL.
Yeah.
And he just keeps getting looked over, and he could have done the MLB, and it's kind of, he's told me some stuff, and it just kind of made me feel just really bad for him because like he's missed his chance on more than one occasion, and because like this person had a better resume just by a little bit, or like this person just knew another person than Westy, and Westy knows a lot of people, and I feel like he hasn't been given the chance he deserves, and not that he doesn't have a good spot in Tri-Cities, but like that guy could have easily gone pro.
Here's the best thing I think, not the best thing I can say about Westy's a great guy. I love him a lot. But I think what you'll find with him is he is super fucking loyal. Wherever he's at, he is loyal to that organization. He's not necessarily looking for other things. And I could be totally wrong about that. Maybe he is. But just the interactions I've had with him, he seems like the most genuine, loyal guy. He's just done so much and has so much to say. So much cool stuff, dude. So hopefully Westy, if you want to listen to this and see that we love you, man. We ain't bashing. We'd love to have you on. So,
Yep. I think, he's definitely a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
For WHL commentator. Like he's a Hall of Famer for sure.
And he's in his 60s and he's still playing beer league as a goalie, man. I mean, come on.
Yeah. He's outperformed me several times.
Wow.
Does the WHL have a Hall of Fame?
They should.
That's a good question.
They should and recognize all
I don't know if they do. I don't know. I mean, I know teams like retire numbers and jerseys, and they have like special things for each player. Like I remember in Kelowna, you'd see like, I saw like, man, I can't remember the players all of a sudden. I think Chara in Kelowna.
No, Chara was in.
There was a Boston player. And they had like a mural for all their prior players along this giant wall, and it was really cool to see.
No, you're right. Yeah, Chara was because he played back when they had the different logo. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Chara was in Kelowna.
So and it was really cool to see how different teams.
Never mind. Sorry, back up. He was a Prince George Cougar.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Either way, there was a Boston player up there, and there was a few others. I think it was Lucic. Lucic was a Kelowna Rocket.
Vancouver Giant.
Fuck, I don't remember that.
He might have been. I mean, he could have been in Kelowna at some point.
Let me just throw all the names out.
The only reason I know that Lucic was a Vancouver Giant is because Lucic is one of the few that's won a Memorial Cup and a Stanley Cup. So
okay,
and he won the Memorial Cup with the Vancouver Giants.
Regina.
It's cool to see how different teams like pay tribute to their prior players. Yeah. Like we've got the big Carey Price thing out on the window. I'm sure when he retires from the NHL, his number will be retired in the dub. Because I don't think anyone's worn number 1 since he's left.
Eric Comrie.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay.
I got that jersey.
We have his. But
here's the thing:
pink ice jersey.
If the Ams retire it, would they have to do one for Comrie as well, or would it do Price number 1, and then that's the only number that gets retired?
I would say probably just do Price number 1.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I don't think anybody would have a problem with that, in my opinion.
I mean, no.
Even players that have worn number 1. So
yeah.
But
yeah. So
all right, boys. Well, we're getting close to the end here. I think we bashed Portland enough today.
It's okay, Portland. I got your back.
Hippies.
We talk about it all the time. I do want to say,
pick a fucking stadium. Pick a fucking stadium.
We are going to be doing a episode of West Side Story this week too. I want you guys to check that out because there's some really cool stuff going on in the women's hockey world. Their draft is actually today as we record.
Ooh. Oh, okay. Before we go, you want to know who got the first pick?
Who?
Guess.
Toronto.
No. Boston. Come on.
How the hell does Boston finish
I
the
don't know.
season like beating everyone and get the first pick? How does that happen?
I don't know. I just saw a tweet that said that Boston gets the first pick. I'm like, what the fuck?
Shenanigans.
That is shenanigans.
Anyways. They actually never played, did they?
No, they never played for the Isabel Cup. That got canceled this year. But Toronto is joining the league next year with the NWHL, so it'll be 6 teams. So
It'll be fun.
it'll be a good one. But listen, we'll go a little bit more in depth. And if you are a Portland fan and you hate how we talk about Portland, sometimes we give Portland a little more love on West Side Story because they're a West Side team that we.
I just chirp them. I know they've got some good fans over there.
They're the Sidney Crosby of the league. You hate them, but you need them there. So
they're the Penguins of the league. Yeah. I want to give a little shout out. I got 2 shout outs, if you don't mind.
No.
I do.
Shout out to the 2 Portland guys who would always come down for the Red Lion tournament. They were really cool dudes. They were dedicated fans. I really enjoyed chatting with them every time they came down. And when I see them, I'm always like, hey, what's up, Portland guys? Those guys were always cool. So I always loved having them there. My second shout out. I'm just thinking hockey here.
Are you drunk?
You guys. Oh God, I wish. Here, let me just.
Attaboy.
I can't reach it.
All right. My second shout out goes to a man named Luke Rose. He was the El Presidente of the Wiesbaden Vikings in Germany. After several years of running the team and strengthening hockey in Germany, he is moving back to the States. He's stepping down from his role in the Vikings, and it sucks to see him go. And some of my best memories in hockey are in Wiesbaden, Germany. So, big shout out to Luke.
Very cool.
Right on.
Nice. I don't know Luke, but if you talk about him as a good dude, I know you're a man of character, so he's got to be a man of character. So.
That guy ran a pretty good organization up there. So,
by the way, before we go, I did want to mention that Portland actually didn't have a first round pick this year because they traded it. Just so if anybody thought I was saying they lost it, they didn't. They traded it.
Yeah, I think their sanctions are long over. Yeah. I think they
2016 or 2017, I believe, was the last year they weren't able to. But anyway, I wanted to make that clear because people like to pick it apart. But anyway, babe, women's hockey. Okay.
I was inaccurate.
She's not paying attention to me anymore. She gave up. We're past the hour point. You two, stay safe. All
Peace
that
and
good
love.
stuff. We'll be back. We're gonna work out drunk hockey here soon. I think that's gonna be a fun one.
yeah.
After
Now, here's the thing: should we also chell it up?
I think
During
this
this.
could become an ongoing thing. Because here's the thing, guys. One of the things I've learned through quarantine is that the level of what's considered alcoholic has changed drastically. And exactly. Usually you're an alcoholic. You were considered down here in society. Now, like, it's actually the norm. It's way up here, and it ain't going to come back down here because we've enjoyed it.
I can't wait for my next doctor's appointment when they ask me how many alcoholic beverages I consume in a week. And I was like, look, normally it's like, 1 to 2 every day or 2. Now it's like 5 to 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times.
I feel you, dude. I got to go to the doctor here soon. I don't want to have that conversation, but anyway. So that could be an ongoing thing. We'll work that out. But I think we found some cool stuff, some exciting things. We're hoping to have some more people on soon. And once again, as Anya said, check out the Facebook group, interact, Buried Puck Threads. Buy our shit, man. Support local, support small business. We are a small business, so support us if you can. We got some new things coming here soon.
I just want to go back and do that whole Boston Pride thing.
Oh, dear God.
They acquired it.
Oh, okay.
From Toronto.
Through a trade.
Yes.
Okay.
So I won't be so mad about it.
Makes sense.
Okay, I feel less aggressive.
But I still think it's stupid.
Nah, it is.
Like, they need the first pick.
There should have been a rule. But anyway. So, guys, we'll be back next week. You two, stay safe. Stay sane. For Corey that's not here because he's got some medical things going on, if you know him, send him a little love. Just wish him to get well. He'll be fine. He'll pull through. He always does. Of course, I say pull through like he's on his deathbed. He's not on his deathbed. I promise. He's
not dying.
He's just.
We're all dying, but
pull
like,
through, little tiger. I'll hit a home run for you.
All right, boys. Well, on that note, and woman, I think we'll say goodbye for the week. Anybody?
No,
Whoa.
but I want to count.
You're going to count.
I'm going to count. 'cause
Okay,
I
she's
know-
going to count this week.
I have a big one. I hope I rehearsed it right in my head. So
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right, well, here we go. Here's the big finale for the week. Anya, take it away.
1, 2, 3.
Ferda.
And I'm sure, as Grandma's got gout, I will staple your tongue to your taint so you can watch me kick your ass.
Laid out on my sheets, I keep falling. The TV keeps me falling asleep. The world is mine in my dreams. I see myself selling myself to myself. I feel like hell and cry for help till I'm held. Until I'm safe in the arms of my home's body. Shut it. Nobody knocks on my door no more. Nobody comes in. Though I'm sure my existence is a topic of discussion. They must wonder what the fuck will be left in a mess uncovered when they finally take a wrecking ball to my bedroom wall. I will show them bells. Show them bells. It's the kitchen in the house. The kitchen's in the house. It's the closet in the house. The closet's in the house. It's the bedroom in the house. The bedroom's in the house. It's the living room in the house. The living room's in the house. I don't go out, I just wander the halls. Fingers run along the crumbling walls, sick in the form like the dip in the floor. The drip in the kitchen that's on a mission to kill me off. I should have died in a crib fire and will before long. Smoke rising from the old wiring, ring the alarm. Wish I could decorate the place with the smell of napalm. Barricade the save face, never answer the phone. Stay away from the shades, try to vanish in the smoke. I no longer know if I'm the cancer or the host. Can't manage to cope without damage in my throat. Used to make plans to go, but they cancel my show. Now I watch Channel Zero for a pattern in the snow. From the clock to the mirror to the carpet full of holes. Things are going well beyond a job for pest control. You know?